There you are. 1 second while I just get myself organized. Very happy International Women's Day to everybody. I am nearly there, just waiting on Facebook as usual. Wow, Facebook is surprisingly fast today. Fantastic. So, how are you? Are you well? Are you good? Are you good? Are you well? Is it all going well today? Oh. I hope you're well. I hope it's going well. It's fine if it's not. Not every day goes well, but I hope it is. And yeah, happy International Women's Day again. We're going to do a bit of meditation. This isn't a class, it's just a chance to meditate together. It's part of the further emergence work I do. I'll explain all about further emergence when we're finished the meditation. But for now, if you're familiar with meditating, a bit off center there, sorry. If you're familiar with meditating, brilliant. Can you hang on for a minute while I explain what I do, just for the benefit of people who are new to meditation? There's lots of different styles of meditation. This is what I do. For me, it starts with why I would meditate. I'm trying to connect with a part of me that I connect to every night when I'm asleep. Not the dreaming bit, the bit after dreaming. So I'm dreaming, and then I drop at the bottom of dreaming into deep dreamless sleep, where I have no thoughts, no memories, no personality, no emotions, no feelings. I've got no body even. I've got no country, no stories. I don't even have me, because I sort of cease to exist in deep dreamless sleep. Certainly in the way that I normally register my existence. Which, when you put it all together like that, that sounds awful, doesn't it? That sounds like death. And yet I love going to sleep. And when I wake up in the morning, I feel refreshed. So some part of me knows that that's a good place that I go to. And that's the place I want to go to when I meditate. So straight away, oh yeah, that's where I want to go to meditate, but I want to do it consciously, right? I knew I was forgetting a bit. So yeah, if you're new to meditation, don't do this lying down, because you'll fall asleep. Or if you don't fall asleep, you'll battle sleep, which is kind of contrary to what the point is. So as I say, there's no thoughts in this place that I want to go to. So I have to figure out something with my mind, some way of working with my mind, or sort of parting the curtains of my mind to get into this place. So what I do is I make an arrangement with my mind where I say, could you just not think for the next 15 minutes? And my mind is on board with that at this stage. It wasn't always, but it's, okay, fine, let's do that. It doesn't mind. Because it kind of has to wait outside the door while I go into this place. So, as soon as stopping thinking, not that hard. Not as hard as you'd think. Because regardless of what I'm thinking about, which would be the content of my thoughts, the structure is always the same, the structure of my thoughts. It's always pictures and sound. So if I turn off the pictures and I turn off the sound, that's it, I'm not thinking. So as soon as I do that, as soon as I stop thinking, I'm into the practice of meditation. Now the practice of meditation runs parallel and along with the intention of meditation. So the intention of my meditation is to go to this deep, dreamless, still, beautiful, calm, all those words that I use to describe meditation. That's my intention. And then the practice of meditation goes alongside it. And it starts as soon as I stop thinking. And it pretty much goes something like, I'll turn off the pictures, I'll turn off the sounds, I'll stop thinking, I bring myself to stop not thinking. Then some time will pass and I'll discover that I'm thinking again. So I'll go, I'm thinking again. So I turn off the pictures and I turn off the sound, I bring myself back to not thinking. Then some more time will pass and I'll discover I'm thinking again. So I'm thinking again. So I bring myself back to not thinking, I turn off the pictures, I turn off the sound. Then some more time passes and I discover I'm thinking again, and so on. That's the practice of meditation. It's very simple. Every time you discover that you're thinking, you bring yourself back to not thinking. Turn off the pictures, turn off the sound. And it's important to it's an important distinction to make, because it's easy to get the misconception that to meditate properly you shouldn't be thinking at all, which isn't the case. These two things go together, the intention and the practice. They go together in a sort of a dance. Sometimes you'll be very still and peaceful and calm and in that kind of very profound kind of place. And then other times you'll be discovering that you're thinking. But both are powerful in their own way. Like, it's kind of obviously powerful when you're in that deep, still, profound kind of place. But when you're discovering that you're thinking, that's also powerful. It's just a bit more subtle to see where the power is. Because what happens is, if you're like me, the sort of things you think about are all to do with you. So I'm thinking about, well, what am I going to do about that thing? What did I say that to that person? Why did that person say that thing to me? And all that sort of stuff. So if I'm in the middle of thinking one of these thoughts and I'm in the middle of meditation and I go, oh, I'm meditating, right, turn off the pictures, turn off the sound, bring yourself back to not thinking. Indirectly and subtly, what I'm saying to myself is, you remember that thought that you just had, the one that you thought was you and you were it? Well, you just got rid of it. You just made it disappear. So you're not that thought. In fact, you're not any of your thoughts. You're something else. So that's very powerful. And the fact that you do that repeatedly, that's very powerful as well. So the main thing is not to add to your thinking by thinking that you're doing it wrong or thinking that you're thinking too much, because there's no set right amount of times that you should be bringing your mind back from that thinking, because it changes from day to day and hour to hour. You know, you could meditate in the morning and you would maybe not need to bring yourself back that much, and then in the afternoon you might need to bring yourself back a lot from thinking. And neither is more right than the other. It's just whatever happens in that particular meditation. It's fine. So the main thing is, every time you discover that you're thinking, bring yourself back to not thinking, and you'll be doing great. Now, while that's all going on, I'm also letting go of tension in my body. I have a system for that. I scan my body from my head down to my feet, very slowly, very gently, back up again. Anywhere I find tension, I let it go. And I use my out-breath to let it go, because it's kind of natural to just breathe it away. It's also a good way to bring more awareness to my breathing, because it's quite easy to hold your breath during meditation or to stop breathing altogether. So using the out-breath is a good way of helping me be a bit more aware of my breath. The other thing I do is as I'm scanning my body, I'm just paying a little bit more attention to any structures in my body that go across or transverse. Because mostly my body runs longitudinally, but transverse areas, or areas that go across, they operate a little bit like a log going across a stream. You know, they pick up the leaves and the twigs and the branches, anything that's coming down the stream, except in my body, it's tension. So I'm paying a little bit more attention to my eyes, my jaw and my tongue, base of my neck, my shoulder girdle, all my joints, so my shoulder, elbow, wrist, fingers, my heart area, my respiratory diaphragm, all my intestines, my pelvic floor, my hips, my knees, my ankles and my toes. Having a nice quiet room is very helpful, particularly when you're starting out, because one of the things that triggers thoughts is noise, and when you close your eyes your hearing amplifies. So the quieter the room you have, the more you'll be helping your mind have less things to think about. The other thing I do for that is I set a timer for how long I'm going to meditate for. Again, that's just to help my mind have one less thing to think about. If you're new to meditation, I'm going to set mine for 15 minutes, but if you're new, I'd encourage you to set yours for 5 minutes and repeat that 3 times, because 15 minutes is a long time if you're not used to it. Okay. Just checking. Questions? No? Okay. All right, off we go then, into the mystery. Okay, if you feel like you've gone very deeply inside and you need a bit of time to come back from there before you open your eyes, then take the time you need. Or if you feel like you can hold the inner space and the outer space at the same time, then just open your eyes. And if when you do that you feel like you've lost connection to that inner space, you just close your eyes again, reconnect with it, open them again. If you lose it a little bit more, close your eyes again, and sort of use your eyes like a valve to balance the inner space and the outer space. So as I said at the beginning, these meditations, these daily meditations I do, are part of the Further Emergence work. Further Emergence it's about growth really, inner growth, growth in consciousness. You could call it spiritual growth, growth in awareness, that kind of growth. Because when your body is growing, as a child and then an adolescent and then an adult, and then it's kind of stops and switches into kind of maintenance once you become an adult. But you keep growing on the inside. That doesn't stop. You only have to think back to the person you were 10 years ago to see that you continued to grow. And just like when you were a kid maybe, or an adolescent, you would have gone through a period of accelerated growth. They're called like growth spurts in your body. You go through growth spurts inside as well, in your inner growth. And, just like when you were going through growth spurts in your body, your parents didn't bring you to the hospital, or they didn't bring you to the doctor. You would have had pains maybe, growth pains, growing pains, and it would have been difficult. But your parents would have said, oh, it'll pass, it'll be all right. And in the same way, inner growth spurts can be difficult and painful, but they can be misidentified. You can sort of feel like something's wrong, when really it's just a natural thing that's happening. So it's those inner growth spurts, that's what Further Emergence is about. And they can manifest in lots of different ways, but some of them are, like some of the common kind of aspects of them are feeling of disorientation, like you can either feel like everything is speeding up, so you can feel yourself changing really fast, and it's almost like you're changing really fast and outside is staying still, which can lead people to kind of feel like, I don't recognize my life anymore, I don't recognize myself in my life anymore, that kind of feeling. And that can feel quite isolating, because it's like, oh yeah, everyone used to get me, now nobody gets me, I don't really understand anybody anymore. And when I try and talk about it, nobody understands. You can have physical symptoms, that's another way it can manifest. And generally what they look like is, the symptoms sort of feel like they've put a pause on your life, and like almost like you're trying to get your attention about something. So there's lots of different ways it can manifest. Those are just some of them. I've been through it myself many times, and I've helped lots of people through it. So these daily meditations are part of that. They're a way of helping to become familiar with your inner space, because the more familiar you are with your inner space, the easier it is to navigate these sort of difficult growth spurts that you go through on the inside. Then there's a Zoom group every week, every Friday, and that's a chance to meditate a little bit more deeply. There's questions and answers, and it's also a chance to see, oh, there's other people who are going through this, I'm not on my own. So there's a sense of community. And then the video from those, you can watch the video from those and see what they're like. Anyone can come to those. The link for the Zoom link is on the website furtheremergence.com. So anyone can participate in those, and if you want to sort of see what they're like, you can look at the video. And then also the audio from those is a podcast, so you can listen to it if you're a podcast kind of person. And then I also work with people one-to-one, and that's a combination of, I like to think of it as behind the scenes work and in front of the scenes work. So the in front of the scenes work is talking through what's happening, and then the behind the scenes works where the person lies down and I do some energetic distance kind of work to help with the process. And then I have books as well. There's books, I've got 4 books that I've written. They're all roughly around that kind of, looking at further emergence from different aspects. So if you've watched all the way to the end, if you're still here, then maybe this is sort of resonating with you. So You can just follow along on the different channels, whatever channel you're looking at on. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Or you can go to the website and read more about it there, furtheremergence.com. Or you can come to a Zoom group or whatever. Okay, so thanks for meditating with me, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow for some more meditation.